Right, thank you.
Okay, off we go.
Thank you, Emily, and welcome everyone to Co-working is Cool Working, which is part of the East Suffolk Business Festival for 2022. And we're glad to have you here today and to be joined by Alex Till and Suzanne Banks from MENTA, and they'll be talking about, as the name implies, co-working. But just first, a little bit about the annual East Suffolk Business Festival. It's an opportunity for business to learn something new, find out what's happening in the local area, and also to understand how they can get involved and find out how to access local support programs. For 2022, the theme for this year's Business Festival is all things digital, and the events will include the launch of new digital business support programs, digital tech demos, information on local digital projects, and a wide range of workshops, webinars, and learning seminars. All of the events are being held online to enable local businesses to access the support and information that they need, and providing convenience that means that businesses can just pop in during the working day. Recorded events, podcasts, and pre-recorded webinars will also be made available throughout the 2-week period and beyond, and you can find those at eastsuffolkmeansbusiness.co.uk. So this is one of the many events scheduled. So to find out about other events taking place, please visit the East Suffolk Means Business website, and note that today's event is being recorded, so you'll be able to watch it back later via the website. If you would like to ask any questions throughout today's event, please either submit a question via the Q&A button on the bottom bar of your screens, or add a question to the chat, but please ensure that this is all to all attendees so it does not go missed. There'll also be a short poll at the end of the event to help us shape future events and activities within the Business Festival. So yeah, myself and my co-host Emily will monitor the chat function and make sure that your questions are brought to the attention of the presenters. So now I'm going to hand over to Alex Till, Chief Executive of MENTA, and also Suzanne Banks, who is the Community Manager for @Inc. in Bury St Edmunds. Thank you.
Superb. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Emily. That was a great introduction. It sounds like there's a lot going on for the East Suffolk Business Festival over the next 2 weeks. So it sounds like an exciting time for all of those businesses to gain quite a lot of knowledge, and especially around the whole digital and technology space. Really, really pleased to be here, guys. Hi, Jane. Hi, John. Hi, Nick. Hi, Pete. And hi, Andrew. Hi, Andrew. And if you have got any questions, I'd like this to be quite an interactive session, which we have this morning. Obviously, we're going to be talking about co-working. We've got some slides which we're going to bring in. And actually, we're going to be bringing in a co-worker later, and I'm going to grab him from the other side of the office because we are in our co-working space today. What I'd like to do is give you a little bit of background to MENTA. MENTA has been delivering business support services since 1984, works very, very closely with East Suffolk, and we are looking at developing a co-working space in central Felixstowe. It's going to be building on the successes which we've had with our @Inc. brand, which has been developed over in Bury St Edmunds. And Suzanne is with me today to give some more detail about the realities of a co-working space, the types of people who are here and the engagements which we have with them, and how we look at growing their very many varied ways of businesses which we support, not only through our space, but also through our networking, our training, and our advice as well. And as a bit of a plug for MENTA, if you want to jump onto our website, it's www.menta.org.uk, and you can see a full list of all of the activities which we undertake there. So feel free to do so. And I think some of you may have accessed our support before. So if you have, thank you very much for being a supporter of MENTA. We don't get any government funding directly. We work with a range of different organisations that deliver business advice and support. So your support and your engagement with our services is truly welcome. So, Suzanne, is there anything you'd like to add at this point?
Oh, hello everybody. Yes, as everybody just said, I'm Suzanne, Community Manager in Bury St Edmunds. I am very excited about the opening of the new @Inc. co-working space in Felixstowe. So yes, absolutely exciting.
Superb. Right, so I shall start to share my screen if that's okay, guys. Here we go. So let me just make sure it works. Yes, so co-working is cool working. It's a really interesting phenomenon. Co-working has suddenly become on its own over the last few years, with more people looking at more spaces. But over the last 2 years, it's become even more prevalent. The world has changed. as we know it, guys. And many of us now have been working from home, working from the kitchen table, working with our partners, working with our children, working with our pets. And on many occasions, it's got rather frustrating. So disruptive technology change, precarious self-employment, along with the COVID-19 pandemic, has meant working is becoming less dependent on distance, location, and time. It's interesting with the government agenda at the moment around levelling up, how many people have not been going into London. Where you've got WeWork and establishments like that based in the city, they've been saying we need more footfall. We can offer different environments. We can make it easier for you to work. And these are the sorts of things which we're looking at now in terms of the co-working space, and now that actually adds value to people's lives. So increasingly, and more increasingly, people work outside of regular working hours, outside of the traditional office. And when new technologies are used, they are used extensively. And even today, here we are on Zoom. You know, many, many years ago, this wouldn't have even been a phenomenon. You know, we wouldn't have been able to do this. We'd all be rushing around the countryside. We'd be trying to get to meetings. We'd be putting additional stresses on ourselves. And we'd be looking at how we were going to be coping with all of the meetings which we had. Workers in information and communication and technology prefer a highly flexible and hybridization, and that's a new word for us, of workplaces. Self-employed and freelancers still need social and professional interaction in order to reduce risks of isolation, particularly high in home working, and to increase networking opportunities. This is something which I know we've seen as being prevalent over the last few months. And at Inc in Bury St Edmunds, we've actually engaged with, how many members is it now, Suzanne?
Oh gosh, we've got just over 80 members. And as our members increase, our non-members decrease. So yeah, those that just hop on in ad hoc on the odd day or so decided they'd utilise the space more, become members. So yeah. Yeah, over 80.
And what we found is that as people have been changing their working dynamics, as organisations have said to them, we want to see you less time in the office, we need you to spend more time away. The organisations, even those like Cambridge University, have said to their staff, you can work from a co-working space, you can find other ways in which you can work, and actually let's reduce the amount of time that you have to travel. And the less meetings you have to make means that there's more of an impact on small businesses if you're not actually having to spend time on the road. And for that big carbon agenda, this actually starts to work. Many are calling it closer to home working now. So we've seen a very, very, very big change in people's ideas of what they want to do. The amount of people who've come into the office going, goodness me, it's amazing. We've just managed to get 3 hours away from the family. They see it as a relief. They see it as a sense of opportunity to get away. We actually had the other week, a husband and wife both book into co-working and said it's the best time they'd had together whilst they're at work because they had no interruptions from children or parents. So it was really, really, really good. So we're seeing a very, very big change in terms of what we're doing. And by the way, guys, if there are any things you want to put in the chat section, feel free to do so. This is informal, and the more we get out of this, it's better because we can get more conversation going. So co-working is cool working, or is it hybrid working? We're all doing many different things at many different points now. We're looking at how we engage with our work-life balance, how we need to manage our lives, our children, our meetings, our locations. And more co-working is becoming increasingly more popular. We're managing it around our necessities. Our life is changing, so we need to understand in a more dynamic way how we're going to achieve the work we're doing. Do we still need to get the 7:10 into London? Or can we save those hours and do additional work? Can we nip in for 2 days a week and the rest of the time work from home or work from a co-working location? What are the features? What are the benefits? How does it work for us? We're now being able to structure our lives around how we work and vice versa. Do we want to be able to drop into town, into the high street, into the pub, into the clubs? What do we want to do? How does this work? How is it all going to be engaging with us as individuals? And actually, the line of sight management, which we once used to have in terms of saying, if you're not in the office, you're not working, has suddenly changed. Simon's smiling there. I can see he's obviously had that said to him. But and Emily as well, yeah. So these things used to happen all the time. As a manager, as a boss, as a CEO, we used to say, what's everybody up to? What are they doing? Where are they going? How do we know that they're working? Actually, co-working increases productivity. It gives people the ability to do what they need to do. There's a sense of trust there. It's freedom with responsibility, and it's actually changing itself into greater productivity and actually greater benefits for organizations. So it's more of a hybrid working than just co-working, but the physical space for co-workers is increasing significantly. So the definition, good old Wikipedia, co-working is an arrangement in which workers of different companies share an office space, allowing cost savings and convenience through the use of common infrastructures such as equipment, utilities, receptionist and custodial service, and in some cases, refreshments and parcel acceptance services. These are all very big words, aren't they? It's attractive to independent contractors, independent scientists, telecommunicating large work teams that want flexibility to avoid wasted office space if some employees are working from home, and work at home professionals and people who travel frequently. Or if you think about it, on the opposite side is more what I want. Workspaces that combine the freedom of working for yourself with the community and creativity of a traditional job. So what have we got sitting the other side of our door? Today we've probably got about 15 people, wouldn't you say, Suzanne? I'll let Suzanne talk. She's the one who's been the other side of the door.
Yeah, we have. We've got everything from, I think we've got a doctor out there today. We've got a podcaster, we've got a novelist, we've got a copywriter. Oh my gosh, and the list goes on. A coder, a programmer, they're all out there the other side of the wall. And actually, just going back to what Alex was just saying, we had a new member a few weeks ago, joined us off the back of one of his mates works from here. He said, you know what, I'm going to come in and give it a go. So he just did an ad hoc day, and at the end of the day I said, Mr. T, how do you think you've got on? How did you get on working here at Inc? And he cracks up laughing and said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm capable of getting so much work done. So yeah, and they're all in here for different reasons, whether it's in fact, yeah, we just had a new chap join who said, I work in Liverpool Street, but my company has just said I need to be remote for 90% of the year. He said, I've just had a brand new baby. How the hell am I going to do that from home? So he's joined, absolutely loves it. Yeah, and brings great energy to the building. Yeah, just a great team of people, really, all doing different things for different reasons. Yeah, mainly they can't work from home anymore, whether it's from, you know, boring themselves silly, mental health, kids, pets. Yeah, definitely a bit of everything. So yeah, it's really cool.
And one of the other things which one of the co-workers said to me recently was, it's great to come in here. I don't really know anybody's life and there's no company politics. So I can just get on, enjoy my free time. I can get on and work and have the most amazing time here and no one is watching what I'm up to. So it's interesting how that impacts on you as individuals. So let's get some statistics up there. We've got something in chat, I think. What have we got in chat? Hey, Suzanne, did you say you had Mr. T working there? Now that really is cool. Look at that, indeed. And great that people now have the choice of hybrid working with a different mix of people. Totally, it's really, really important. And I think that adds to the value of the community more than anything else, because different people interact at different levels. So you've got the gamers, you've got the programmers, you've got guys who just make sound and suddenly say, how do you overcome this? Let's have a conversation around it. And that fusion of different business minds and different opportunities and different discussions for us is fundamentally important. And it is all about creating that community. So some statistics, Simon's scratching his head there. Some statistics. Let's go. What have we got? Let me click on the screen because they're not coming through. Right, digital nomads and freelancers, as they like to call them, now just make up 19.43% of today's co-working users, while remote entrepreneurs and remote corporate employees account for 13.17%. The world in which we live, TikTok, Facebook, I've forgotten all of the other ones online, but all of those aspects, people are becoming more and more engaged with the digital technologies they've got. They want to become digital nomads. The amount of people you would see sitting in cafes, doing work, seeing how they engage with different people at different levels is where we're suddenly seeing an increase. They want to be able to drop in at a point in time, not necessarily for the whole day, but maybe for an hour, maybe for 2 hours, maybe at 5 o'clock in the morning because they're doing some work in Dubai. So these are the sorts of things which we're actively seeing at this moment in time. So they are naming themselves digital nomads. We can work from anywhere at any point and at any time. Every 6th member of a co-working space considers themselves a digital nomad. New technologies, new terminologies. Really, really interesting to see how that's engaging. And also, a lot of them say, well, we can work from anywhere. We are of no fixed abode. We are that digital nomad. We can set up and work. I have my phone, I have my computer. What else do I need? Space, coffee, nice environment, and the ability to sit down and engage with other people when I want to have a bit of free time. Co-worker study revealed that the two most common demographics who use co-working spaces are SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, and in particular micro businesses, those 0 to 4 employees. And they account for 37.93% and 27.12% respectively. And what's interesting is, as we went through the pandemic, we were getting businesses ring us saying, we've got a team of 6 or 7. We've just shut our office. The overhead was too high. Can we rent a space from you for 2 whole days a month so our whole team can come in? Then we will disperse and work from home again. Then we'll come in the next month so we can actually cluster as an organization. That was really interesting. So I dug in a little bit more on the detail and said, what has this made a big saving to you as an organization? And then it saved us £45,000 a year by removing our office and being able to use functions such as yours. We can adapt to the needs that we want. We can bring staff in as we need to. But as a small business, this has enabled us to survive through the pandemic. That was a really interesting thought for me, because actually we're suddenly creating an environment which is not only saving money and engaging people, but it's actually looking at the survival of small business as well. And that is fundamental in these current times. Personality-wise, 30% of people that frequent co-working spaces identify themselves as extroverts and 22% as introverts, and the rest is mixed. So a little bit of extrovert, a little bit of introvert, as and when they need to be. And we've noticed that as well. When they need heads down, they're quiet, they get on. When they want to chat, they'll look around. They're like meerkats, their heads will pop up. They'll have a quick look around and think, oh, can I tell a joke? Can I have a quick chat as I wander over to the coffee station? What can we do? And then instantly, once they've had that discussion, it might be 5 minutes, but they're back down to their work again. So it's very short and sharp. And the key time for the fun is
3:30.
3:30. When everyone needs a sugar rush and they're off to the coffee. But it's quite interesting how that works amongst all of the people which are within the office space. 82% of the users reported that co-working has expanded their professional network. So just imagine if you walk into your office every day, see the same people with the same faces, talking about the same things. You're always going to have a small network. Every day at Inc. co-working is a different day, different people, different energies, different meetings. And that adds value to what we're doing. It's interesting. Suzanne will actually introduce everybody to the new person who comes in.
The big embarrassing shout out.
A big embarrassing shout out.
They love it though, it's good. Yeah, it gets everybody to know everybody else, know who they're actually working with on that day. Every day is absolutely different from who's in and how long they're in for. But they all get along. It's like it's just like one big community, I guess. Most of them pick the days that they're working, sort of stick to them for those days or that month. And the businesses that come in to use the office space, that's very varied. So yeah, different. Every day is different, definitely.
We have got a couple of questions, Alex. Sorry to cut in. There's a couple of questions.
The more questions, the merrier.
We've got a question from Simon. How are individuals utilising the co-working space for face-to-face business meetings?
Oh my goodness, so Simon. I'm going to be very honest, we haven't really seen a change. People come in, they book the meeting rooms, they have meetings. And then once again, we're having collaborative Zoom meetings as well. So not dissimilar to Suzanne and I, there'll be 2 people around a screen conversing with other people. So it actually works really, really well. And they've got the freedom to come in and use it just for that short period of time. So we're seeing that there's a real mix of engagements. And the other interesting bit is face-to-face business meetings are happening between the co-workers. Have you got a quick 5 minutes so I can discuss how you created that IT platform? Have you got a quick 5 minutes to talk about my PR and productivity? So there's actually engagements. Have we seen that there's a massive influx of people wanting to hold meetings? No, but it's starting to come back, Simon. So it's a really interesting space, and one which we're seeing has grown quite considerably over the first part of this year as well. Oh, look at that, Jane. That's a fantastic question. Go on, Suzanne.
Oh my gosh, Jane, I'm so excited. So hopefully, we've just secured a premises in the High Street, Felixstowe, and hopefully it will be up and running by the end of April, maybe start of May, possibly, dependent on contractors really. So yes, so definitely come and check it out.
That's Hamilton Road, Jane. Hamilton Road there.
And then we've got another question in from Pete. This is great. It's like being on the radio. We're getting all sorts of things coming in. Nick will know about that if he's listening. So have you heard any success stories where co-workers from different businesses have found collaborative opportunities? Indeed, we have, Pete. We've got a couple of programmers who are sitting out there at the moment. One guy develops websites and things for Nigella Lawson. We've got another guy who does a lot of work around HMRC and tax. And they've suddenly just come together and saying, we can create a product. We know where there could be an opportunity for this. So they have actually sat down and said, right, you can do all of the graphics and the design work, and I can do all the back end of it. Let's see where we can take this to. So there's active collaborations on all levels. And even those organizations which are doing podcasts and things like that are talking to others about how they can engage with different media structures, how they get to the marketplace and all of those sorts of things. Oh, look at that. Jane's in again. Go on, Suzanne.
Where am I?
How much are you charging for co-working space?
Sorry, Jane, I haven't got my glasses on. Don't even know where they are. Okay, so membership is £60 a year, and a desk is £10 a day, and then there'll be rates for office space depending on what we actually end up with. So yes, we'll definitely give you a shout, Jane, and let you know when it's all confirmed up.
And if you want to email Suzanne, you're more than welcome. That's suzanne@menta.org.uk. Okay, I'm going to run out of time today, Simon. I know it. So in 2019, the number of co-working members across the globe increased to 3.1 million from 1.74 million in 2015. So the increase is considerable. 55% of flexible workspace users still work in the same place they started out in. So that shows really good longevity in terms of those people that engage with the space. I hate to say it, but over in Cambridge, they've had quite a little bit of a flurry of people leave them and come down to Bury St Edmunds, even so much so that the guy who was running their co-working space over at Waterbeach decided to come and have a look to see what we were actually up to down here. That made me smile somewhat because it's showing that people want to stay closer. They don't necessarily want to travel, but they also find that the community that we've got here is very engaging and active for them. And even one of the co-workers who was with us said, I didn't even know people like this existed in Suffolk, which really made me laugh. What did you think they were going to exist like? So we're seeing people come from all over, and I think our widest or furthest away, should I say, was Dubai. And he'd flown back and he said, I just needed somewhere to work. And he actually bought membership and comes in regularly now as and when he's back from being overseas. So quite an interesting space and a completely different community from what we'd probably anticipated to start off with. 185 with the average number of members per co-working space worldwide in 2019. So not that I'm giving Suzanne a target, but she's probably got about another 100 members to get, which would be great to see where we're heading on that one. And in 2018, demand on flexible workspace solutions from corporate clients increased by 21%. We're finding that quite interesting at the moment, that corporates are saying, can our staff work from there? Local authorities are saying, can we work out of a co-working space? Not just because they don't want them to go back into their own local offices, but because they want to get them to engage and network with other like-minded businesses and small business opportunities. And that for me is a really, really interesting space, because we then start to develop a fusion of different people, public sector, private sector, and then if we bring voluntary and community sector in there as well, you've got a whole community of people which can look at support in a very, very different way. And 45% of co-working space members worked in a home office before shifting to co-working space, because they couldn't stand it at home anymore. That's what it is. Or they just run out of room or just got bored with living and working in the same spaces. And then January and September are the peak seasons for new members. People usually join in January to make up for reduced working hours in December, which also makes it the month with the lowest memberships across the globe. So that is a global phenomenon, that one, in terms of when bookings and people are making memberships come forward. So a quick statistic there, I just thought I'd throw that one in. For those of you who know me, I don't usually do that much detail, so I've just thought I'd put some numbers in for those who do. The number of co-working spaces worldwide is projected to reach almost 20,000 in 2020. The number of co-working spaces worldwide is expected to be more than double by 2024 and surpass 40,000. In 2020, the co-working market is forecasted to grow at around half the rate. Obviously, we're through this now, but the pandemic's had an issue. And around 5 million people will work from co-working spaces by 2024. That's quite fundamental, but as you can see, it's happening and has been driven quite significantly by the pandemic and people having to use alternative spaces to work. So, 10 amazing benefits of co-working. Can anybody throw any out there? Anybody got any ideas? What's the benefits?
Daily networking.
Daily networking, look at that. I can't even see chat function at the minute, guys. So if there is any, you'll have to shout at me.
Collaboration.
Collaboration indeed. Was that one from you, Emily? Thank you very much. Opportunities to collaborate from Peter, yes. Sharing ideas from Mr. Neild, indeed. Thank you very much, John. Look at this. Networking, yes, daily and monthly. And if anyone wants to network, feel free to jump onto the MENTA networking, because that's offered on a regular basis as well. And we've got some coming up in Woodbridge. Little plug there, Simon. Okay. And minimal commutes. Look at this, everyone's going. Fusion of ideas to generate new ventures, indeed. So let's just run through some of the amazing benefits which we've got out here. Okay. I'm going to have to close chat because there we go. So flexibility in the workplace. The environment of these working spaces is very flexible and there are no strict rules to follow. A member can book the desk he or she desires and work according to his own will without having to be accountable to anyone. It's easy to scale up your office if your team grows by switching plans, which can be done easily without any chaos. We often have guys turn up in the morning saying, sorry, we've got 4 people coming in. Can we just have the meeting room? Of course you can have the meeting room. It's free. It's not a problem. Let's just work with it and engage with what we want to do. That enables everybody to be at ease with what they're doing. And ultimately, what we're looking for is a space which people want to come back and engage with on an ongoing basis. I'm having screen troubles here, guys. It promotes business growth. Shared office spaces, one can grow their business at a faster pace along with availing the other benefits of co-working. Better connectivity and networking with people around you will bring in more ideas and work for you, giving you a chance to expand your business. It's amazing how many people just grab 5 minutes for a quick chat. Can I just have a couple more seconds? Can you just highlight how I can do this? Does anybody know a workaround or have experienced these problems? We're seeing this on an ongoing basis and it skips through. People leapfrogging issues which they wouldn't have initially been able to talk about. So that for us is a really exciting opportunity. And there's a possibility that people with whom you're sharing the office space may become your clients or provide you with references. And actually we've seen that. Can you write me a testimonial? I did some work for you. Can you do a testimonial? Yes, I can. Oh my goodness, I didn't know you worked in that area. Perhaps you could support me. We then got
a question from Jane.
Yeah, go on, Jane.
How does it work if you need to use your phone?
Well, there's 2 options here, Jane. Some people just use it directly if they're able to do that. So they'll plug their headphones in and just get on and do it whilst they're in the office space. And others will say, can we just nip into one of the Zoom rooms or one of the quiet rooms? So if they know that they're going to be on a long conversation, then they would just literally nip into one of the rooms. And interestingly, down in Felixstowe, as it was an old retail clothing store, there are 7 rooms already there. So they can instantly be used. And they've got a little light on there, so you can switch the light on to show that that room's booked. So we don't have any issues and people just feel at ease with it. So there's never a problem. If you want a private conversation, you go have it. If you want to sit there and take a call as you would do in a normal space, if you were at home, then you can do that as well. Okay. Have we got another one in chat? Okay, that's fine. No problem, chat. Thanks for the question. And co-working with like-minded people, it's really interesting the amount of people that are similar in their approach to work. They come in, they get on, they look at how they're doing. They seem to connect in a way in which is beneficial for them. So many of them said, oh, we just couldn't concentrate at home. We just couldn't get on with it. We felt isolated. All I did was walk into my living room and back out again. There was no sense of separation. We didn't have anyone to talk to. Everything was becoming online and in our face and just electronically driven. And we just want to have a conversation. It's that hello in the morning. It's that see you tomorrow. It's that what are we going to have for lunch? And that's the interesting thing. Half the team will suddenly say, we're all going out for lunch. So instantly the co-working space is empty because they've all gone off for lunch together. Heaven forbid they've invited Suzanne or I if we're here. But they're building their community. They're engaging with it. And that's the kind of workspace that we've got here. No one is time constrained. And if you want to work till 7 o'clock at night, you can do. All of the MENTA at Inc office spaces are open 24 hours a day. And you will have your key fob if you're a member, and you'll be able to access it. So you can work whenever you want, however you want. And that gives you the freedom.
We have a couple of guys who have international hours, don't we? So they come in sort of like 4 o'clock in the morning. And by the time everybody's having lunch, they're done for the day. So yeah, we do have a few of those members. And also we've got another member that just works weekends. So he does his regular job during the week, and then he's starting up a new business. So he comes and works from here every weekend. So yeah. whenever.
So all hybrid, whatever you want, we will accommodate it. We'll make sure that it works for you in an effective and an efficient business manner. And it enables you to collaborate and learn new skills. You know, co-working spaces support regular events. And one of the things which Suzanne's going to be creating as we move forward is a thing called show and tell. Maybe you could tell us some more.
Yes, just an informal networking evening event, actually. And the guys in here often put forward ideas of things they would like to happen in here. So yesterday evening, for example, a guy, just as he was packing up, said, have you ever heard of Bongo Bingo? Yeah. Bingo Bongo. So we've had a look into it and thought, yeah, that might be a good idea. It's bingo with a party theme. So yeah, something else that they all seem very interested in. And another couple of guys have asked if they can have a podcast room. So can we set that up for them so they can do that in here? But yeah, so networking, not just on a daily basis, but we're going to start doing evening networking, but very informal and quite fun. 5 minutes of fame. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks, John. But 24-hour working will be on a fob system. So all of those members will be given a fob, and excuse me, they will have access to a keypad at the front door, and you will hold your fob up and it will be able to be opened. Everything will be safe, secure and locked and monitored. But yeah, it's worked through a fob system. So thank you for asking that. And then non-materialistic support is an interesting one, because what we found is there's a lot of personal support for each other, emotional support. So a lot of people talk about things. Are you getting paid on time? Are we able to manage this contract? Could you read the contract? I'm actually feeling a little bit anxious and a little bit stressed around this. And a number of people will support each other as they go through the co-working. And that's been something which I hadn't necessarily thought about. There's friendships being built. There's people who are going through similar sorts of issues. And that for me is a really interesting one, because it actually is an unintentional benefit of what we've achieved. And that is a good thing. It's a really good thing for everyone around here. And that enables people to feel that they are supported in a way that isn't necessarily through your employer. The spirit to follow your dreams and face the challenges is what connects all the members of the community. And by conducting social events and other activities on a regular basis, this place helps its members to relieve their stress and negativity. And I must admit, there's a lot of laughter in here. There is a serious amount of laughter, isn't there, Suzanne? And joke telling at 3:30. We don't know it. And the prospects of better networking. Co-working spaces are way better than renting private offices, as it offers you with opportunities of networking. As we said before, if you go along and shut yourself in a room all day and only come out when you want to get your coffee, you don't necessarily meet the people or hear the conversations or discuss what's going on. And that for me is really, really important. It's those bump stops when we bump into each other and go, oh, sorry, that's okay. So who are you? What do you do? How are you? How's your business going? What are you working on at the moment? Is there anything I could support you with? Or that's really, really, really interesting. Simon's put in, you've mentioned numerous startup businesses. Presumably access to business advice, guidance, and mentoring is important. 100%, Simon, but not necessarily in all of the ways in which you anticipate. The mentoring and support will come from other co-workers as well. And then on occasions, Suzanne and I will be asked, can we get funding? Can we access support? Is there any advice on digital opportunities and all of those sorts of things? And then we can actually put them back into the work that MENTA does, or we can actually signpost into other areas as well and see what else is going on. But yes, it's very, very important that those people who use our community feel that they are 100% within it and can get the support and advice that they need at a time that they need it. So, one more productivity equals more success. And what's interesting is often when you're actually in an organization, you may waste some time, but whilst you're in your co-working, you actually crack on. You're gaining leads into your business and will keep you occupied, making you productive while simultaneously reciprocating it with your high income and growth rate. You're working with like-minded people, will make you work on your toes, which will create a seamless workflow, increasing your talent. Not only that, you'll get asked questions. How did it go? How was it? What are we engaging with? And you'll be able to seek out other sort of areas of support and saying, yes, it went well. I did really well on that one. You know, there's a couple, yes, ka-chings, we've done it. We won the contract. It's quite nice. Everybody celebrates it. So therefore, if other people are feeding off your energy and your environment and your excitement, they're likely to want to share what they're doing as well. We had to, yeah.
The members said they always share in the morning if there's something big going on in their day. whether they actually mean to or not, it just kind of happens. So yeah, whether they've got a big meeting or we had somebody the other day that was really nervous about, I think it was like a program they were running or something, and it was a big deal to them. And once they'd finished, it was like, earphones off. Oh, all done, nice one. Everybody chatted really quickly. How did it go? Was it good? Yeah. So loads of support, you know, from one another.
Personal space with professional engagements. That's a really interesting one. You know, it's very important to grow mentally and stronger and concentrate and look at different areas of work. If we all do the same things, as I said before, we all get caught up in the same areas. There are so many different businesses in it doing so many different things that you can never fail to just casually eavesdrop a conversation saying, wow, you know, the other day there was a guy saying, I'm doing a podcast on trauma. Really? Talk to me. What sort of traumas? How does this work? And he was really keen to engage with what he was doing and how that works. And also the global work he's doing through his podcasts. Wow, didn't even know that. Let's have further conversations. And unlike any other corporate workplace, co-working is a space that facilitates you to have recreational time. Yes, we do have downtime. Yes, there are opportunities. Yes, there is a unicycle sitting at the end of the corridor, which some people actually get out every now and again. But there's an ability to feel that you can enjoy the space. It's not like a morgue, it's not like a library. It's about making sure that you feel that your work-life balance can work. And if you want to leave at 11:30 in the morning because you've suddenly done your day, no one's there to say you can't. And this is the environment which we're trying to foster and create, one which means that you can engage and you can develop your business as and when you want to.
We've got another question from Peter Wood.
Yes, go on, Peter.
What other opportunities do you think there are to offer additional complementary services to members in addition to space?
Oh my goodness, I think there is a whole range of services, Peter. You could offer a creche. I think there'd be so many young businesses with families who would suddenly say, do you know what, that'd be a great facility. I think we can offer leadership and management and wider business support as well. So we can start looking at that. And Peter, I think one of the big things for me, and Simon will be aware of this one, is those who are looking at employing people. So looking at ambitions to employ. So if you're suddenly on that journey from being a sole trader and you want to take additional stuff on, what does that all mean? How can we learn from that? Where can we add value to it? So there's a significant number of different benefits, not necessarily sell-ons, but opportunities which could be built around the co-working cluster, as I would call it. So yeah, there's a lot of things in there which we could develop. And for me as well, it's about inspiration and mentorship. Shared office spaces where there's numerous professionals, numerous startups, numerous freelancers, artists and entrepreneurs. As Suzanne said, we've got a female fiction writer.
Yeah.
Which is an unbelievable thing. I didn't even know they existed. But she talks to us about how she's writing her book and where that engagement is. And she likes the energy and the vibrancy of the other people around her. And that for me is really interesting. And then collaborating around that. What is it you actually do? How do you bring your book to market? Are they sold through Kindles? Is it on Amazon? All of these questions then lead to other people going, well, you know what? I wouldn't mind talking to you further about that. How can I do that? Oh my goodness, you've just set up a model which is repeat business. How did you do that? How do you make sure? How do you program it? All of these are questions which people engage in. And they share a common platform and somewhat have the same goals, ambitions, and challenges in life. We see that more often than not. It's all around time. It's all around progression. It's all around contracts. It's all around cash flow. These discussions are on an everyday basis, but sharing the load. How did you overcome it? How can we move this forward? What can we do to progress this? And that's the really exciting bit more than anything else, is seeing how people are growing their businesses through a pure location of support and gentle nuggets of information as we go forward. I'm seeing we're getting more stuff coming in the chat, Emily, and I can't see what it is.
Yes, we've got a question from Andrew. I have seen the Bury site has a training area. Is one planned for the new Felixstowe site?
Indeed, there is. So the Felixstowe site has got 2 floors. I shouldn't be saying this. This is Suzanne's space. You can talk about it.
Yes, it has. Absolutely it has. So we'll have Zoom rooms, co-working desks, training rooms, boardrooms, meeting rooms. And we're so flexible that whatever people approach us asking for, we'll make it happen. So yes, yeah, absolutely everything. We'll let you know when it's open. Come and have a look. Absolutely.
There will be a launch party.
Yeah, there definitely
will be a launch party, and everyone is welcome and invited. So to bring it to real life, I've got Adam, who's sitting behind me right now, and he's from Authentic Communication. So he's just been dragged out of the co-working space to say, will you come and have a chat and talk to us about your experiences? So I will drop you in at full height there, Adam.
All right, it looks like I've got a very nice halo on. Hang on, there we go. We'll twist around this way a little bit. Hi, everyone. So I'll do a little intro. So my name's Adam Driver. I started up my business just before the pandemic, had my notice in 2020, February. And my business is called Authentic Comms. It's a strategic marketing consultancy around communications, SEO, content marketing. I've got a range of different clients. We're going back 2 years now in all sorts of different spaces. So higher education, not-for-profits, hospitality, tech, and I work from the Bury Inc. office 2 days a week. So I do Monday and Tuesday just to keep it a bit regular, but also sort of drop in as and when needed in town. It's just really good to have a sort of space in town and away from sort of 2 kids and a dog at home.
So what do you think about the benefits of working from home?
So yeah, just listen to what Alex is saying. It really, without just sort of repeating it, it's just really nice to have a space to come to where there are people that from different walks of life, from different businesses, different experiences, but that have a they just want to sort of grow and develop or just keep their business going as best they can. I think everyone's sort of finding it hard in lots of different ways over the past couple of years. So it's nice to have that sort of moral support. It's also nice to have those sort of missing moments, the water cooler moments, the sort of the chats you have in the kitchen when you used to be in an office, just bouncing random stuff off people. So as much as it is the, what do you think of this contract? Is this a good opportunity? Do you know anyone that is a photographer or something like that? It's as much about, talking about what you did at the weekend and having that kind of social and the kind of social interaction, I guess, is a big part of it. But yeah, it's also good just to pop your head above your laptop every now and again. And yeah, as Alex said, sort of congratulate yourself, because especially if you're working as a business of one, as I am at the moment, there's very sort of few opportunities to sort of like take stock and sort of celebrate little wins, even if it's just a cup of tea saying well done with someone.
Thanks, Adam. There's a lot of questions for Adam because he is like a real life co-worker.
I'm real.
And he wasn't planned. Literally just pulled it in and goes, I've got 5 minutes, Alex. If you want me to do something, I've got 5 minutes. So we've got some chat in there, Emily. I don't know.
Yes, we've got a question.
7, which is quite scary.
Yeah, we've got a question for Adam. We found social media has helped drive traffic to @Inc. How do people get to know about such workspaces? As in, does word of mouth help?
Definitely. I think sort of overlapping networks of people is really important. So I found out about it through a friend of mine, actually, rather than sort of any particular advertising. I saw advertising afterwards, but noticed that there were some posters up in the window, but then also was at the same time a friend of mine who works here a couple of days a week sort of mentioned, thought it was a good place to sort of come in and check out and try. And yeah, it sort of definitely sort of fits the bill for me.
I think when I came in first off, there was a cluster of you, wasn't there? There was about 4 of you came in all together.
There was a little gang of us sort of like came in and were sort of dispersed and sort of do different days and different things. But as much as it is nice to sort of bring sort of colleagues you already work with in, it's also good to meet sort of new different people and have those interactions.
Any more questions for Adam on there, Emily, or are we
There's a general question. What does the £10 include? For example, coffee, desk space, chair, etc.
Oh my goodness, Suzanne's on it now. She's on it. She's the coffee queen.
It's actually cheap to come and work from Inc. than live at home, actually. So you have everything other than a bed and a shower. So your co-working desk, or you can hire a room, you have free coffee, free pastries, your 24/7 access. So yeah, you must all come and try it.
So there's fruit, there's pastries, there's coffee. It's all on tap if you guys want to utilise it. And that is literally for £10 plus VAT a day. If you're a member. And actually it works out cheaper than cost of coffee or working in some of the cafes where you're constantly having to continue to keep buying coffee or pastries to
rice coffee
to maintain your position on it. So it's a very, very, very good value offer. For those who are non-members, it will be £15 plus VAT per day. But once again, it's very good value, and you can work as long as you want, and that is for that 24-hour access. Okay, I've got another question in chat. It's just gone up to 8, Emily. Look at this. This is really good.
The next question. Where on Hamilton Road is the new site?
It is at number
87.
87 Hamilton Road.
It's the old Yours building. So I believe it's a ladies' fashion wear shop. Well, it's near Boots and
yes, it's opposite Coffee Link and opposite who does the sandwich? Subway. It's opposite Coffee Link and Subway, but it is right in the high streets. So for any passing footfall, people who want to drop in and work, they're more than welcome to do so. And we've already had quite a bit of interest from some freight forwarders who are saying it would be great to work out of there because we're all working from our bedrooms at the moment. So quite a bit of interest already. But if anyone would like more details on it, feel free to contact Suzanne at menta.org.uk. and she'll be able to pass details, and we'll be able to get you on the list of those interested people. So just rapidly moving on, because I'm mindful we've got a short amount of time left. So co-working is not only about providing a physical space, but also about establishing a community. And it's interesting because in the past, when I've been asked to do things, people said, "Oh, can you take this building on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want me to do with it?" "Oh, well, we just want to sell office space." Actually, guys, we don't just sell office space or co-working space. This is about establishing a community of those people who want to engage, a community of those people who have a need, and a community of those people that can be supported by MENTA and all the other business support offers that we have, and also work with us in the local authority to look at how we can create economic growth. So if you just want me to go and sell a Magnolia Breeze Block building, that's not really our space. We're all about establishing that community. So be part of that community. Join our Inc. And there's Suzanne, and we are at Felixstowe 87 Hamilton Road. I'm mindful you wanted me to leave a few minutes at the end, Simon, so more than happy. You've got 10. I don't know if that's enough.
That's perfect, Alex.
Is it? Okay, super. Thanks, Simon. And as always, if anybody has any questions or any details that they'd like us to answer, do not hesitate to either jump onto the MENTA website, www.menta.org.uk, or contact Suzanne or one of the team, and we're more than happy to support you.
Right, thank you, Alex. Thank
you.
you, Suzanne, and thank you, Adam, for joining the conversation. We do have a just before we close. There are the two items really. First of all, I just wanted to provide a few takeaway points really that from a personal perspective. The first one is I think what we're seeing is a significant and dramatic cultural shift at the moment in the way that people do work, and that's reflected in the data that Alex has presented. What interested me was the significant growth from corporate businesses, and that does represent, I guess, a shift in management thinking from that control environment of keeping everybody in the office through to a more leadership approach and empowering employees to take ownership of their working day, and also provide them with the opportunity to improve their work-life balance. So that's something that I think is very important. It's very interesting as well to see that people are moving away from Cambridge to Bury St Edmunds. That indicates to me also that sense of the demand for hyper-local activity within a town centre, and of course town centres to the local council are extremely important areas. The hollowing out of town centres is a key issue across the board, across the country, and it is about new innovative solutions that present diverse offers that attract people back into our town centres, and certainly the @Inc model is one element of that. It does mean that footfalls are increased, people going out to lunch, they're going to spend in the local area, which is excellent. Community, yeah, that is at the forefront of our thinking as well. So that's great. So I'd just like to say there's a lot to take away from this presentation. Thank you, Alex. Emily is just about to launch a questionnaire, and before we close, it would be really helpful if you could complete it. But thank you all for joining.
Thank you. It's been a good session. Thank you.
You should now see the poll on your screen. So there's just a few questions. If you could answer, that would really help us out. Thank you. Just give you another minute or two. Sorry, Andrew, you are not seeing the questionnaire. Okay. I don't think I can restart it now. Sorry about that. We can just ping you the questions in the chat. I think everybody else is finished. Thank you very much.
Superb. All good, guys.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Suzanne.
Have a great day.
Right.
Take care. See you.
Thank you and
Thank you,
goodbye.
everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.